Ciao ragazzi, my name is Anthony. Welcome along to Football Worldwide. It's been a minute since I've gathered with friends from down under, but I'm really excited to have a nice, casual, level-headed conversation with three gentlemen. First of all, starting with my friend Adam from Melbourne. How you doing, my friend?
Good, man. It's I've been hanging out for this all day. Actually, it's good to be back after a couple of weeks hiatus. So looking forward to getting stuck into the weekend's round.
Absolutely, man. I'm joined by my friend Anthony as well. How you doing, my friend? I love that shirt, bro. It's really good. It could be different colors, but overall, it's fantastic.
Yeah, it's good to support the boys that are doing some good work down here. But yeah, good to be back after a few weeks. I thought Adam was going to say, couldn't wait to get stuck into me, but I'm sure that will come later in the show.
It's coming.
It's coming.
And Armando, the only thing more impressive than your mustache is Napoli's form at the top of the Classifica, man. So it's really good to have you as well.
Nice to be back. Like Adam said, we did not appreciate you don't calling us in the last two episodes. So we were really going to open up our own channel and called Worldwide 2.0. Now, jokes aside, it's a pleasure to be back.
I'd be your first subscriber, my friend. Let's jump right into it, man, because we've got another match day starting tomorrow morning. Can you believe it? My friend messaged me this morning and he goes, "You think Inter can back it up against Spezia on Thursday morning?" I'm like, Jesus Christ, Thursday morning. That means there's games tomorrow on Wednesday. But for tonight, we'll focus on match day 14. Cagliari and Salernitana play out a draw in which the away team probably feels like they got more. Sampdoria got their second on the bounce against Verona. Empoli are showing that they are the surprise package of the season so far. We will definitely touch on that next result. Juventus 0, Atalanta 1. My boys went to Hipster FC, Gondola FC, and got 3 points there. It was awesome. Udinese and Genoa played out a board draw. Milan slipped up against Sassuolo. Anthony will take us through that. Thiago Motta, Spezia could not get anything against Bologna, whereas Adam's lads and Jose got a win over Juric and Torino. But the most impressive fixture of the match day goes to Napoli and Spalletti with an injury-ridden side overcoming Lazio 4-0. And that's where we're going to start this amazing roundtable with the amazing Armando. But I'm sorry, Armando, the more amazing Dries Mertens. My goodness, I'm 29 years old. When I tell people in the next generation, name some players that you thought were the best in Serie A, this guy's right up there for me. In my life, Dries Mertens, he's unbelievable.
You know what's funny? Few months ago, I was chatting with a lots of Napoli fan. Osimhen is to go do the Africa Cup. This guy. And I'm saying, guys, we got Mertens. Osimhen's supposed to be the bench player for Mertens. People have short memory. They forgot what this kid did in the last 5-6 years for Napoli. This guy, it's a gun. And he loves the shirts. I rate him more than Insigne. To me, he's more Napoletano than any Napoletano in the Napoli team right now. He loves the club. Did you see what he did after he scored the second goal? He goes, I'm here. It's still me. I'm still in charge here. So I'm not surprised. He was coming from an injury. And, you know, when you come back from an injury and you've been off 3 or 4 months, you need to play 3 or 4 games before you're kicking in. That's all. His first goal was magical. And it was magical in all aspects because if you watch Napoli screen, it says DM 1-0 goal 10 minutes. So 10M. So it sounds like he scored for Maradona on the Maradona night. His second goal is such a Mertens goal, like you guys said. It's something untouchable. But it's not just the goal that he does. He's been unstoppable against Lazio because, see, what happened is with Osimhen, we pull in and we put the ball into space to launch Osimhen. So defense, they try to hold, don't give us space. With Mertens, it's the other way around. Mertens was dropping in between the lines and pulling off the center back. But the genius of Spalletti, he told Mertens to run to the opposite center back and then cut in. So when you are on the opposite center back where the ball comes and you run in, you create confusion. Because if the opposite center backs come with you, you leave a huge channel behind you for Zelinski to come in or for Fabian to come in for the other one. If that guy doesn't come with you, Mertens is always free. And the other center back will never go to pick up Mertens because it's not his man. He comes across. And by the time he moves, it's too late. So the tactical decision from Spalletti was a masterpiece. It just killed Sarri. And plus, we had, I think, there was a time where we had over 30-plus passes and over 10 minutes of Ole. I don't think Lazio touched the ball for 10 minutes. It's like unbelievable. And all this in the first 30 minutes. And then we just put the break, and it was like training mode, passing the ball, rest for next game. I think too many people saw Napoli losing against Inter, and so the injuries coming on board, like Anguissa, like Aussie Man, and they start saying that Napoli is going to crumble. I like what Spalletti did in UEFA Cup because we're still on top of the group. He took the risk to rest 3 players. We didn't manage it to win, but even that game and even the game against Inter, if you watch those 2 games, Napoli ends up the game on top. So we are not on bad form or anything. It's happening, guys. You can't come from 13 consecutive victory and expect never to lose. We lost to Milan against Inter. A great game to watch. It means nothing. We're back in business.
Absolutely,
now, the only thing that us Napoli fans should worry about right now is the distance between Napoli and the 5th place.
Yeah.
Napoli and the 5th place. We don't need to fly because it's a long way to go. March comes, we're still there on top, and then we start talking about Scudetto. Before we go, and before, guys, I'll let you ask question, I want to just to tell everybody that if you haven't watched the party they did for Maradona, the contribution, the statue before this game, go have a look because it was a magical moment. It's a beautiful poesia that was written by Di Giacomo and read by a speaker at the stadium. And it was a really magical moment. The whole night was a magical night. Open to questions, guys.
Absolutely. I'm going to go over to Adam for the first question. As you see, Mertens scoring that amazing second goal over Pepe Reina, who might as well start looking forward for a transfer to Cesena or Ascoli. He is that bad of a goalkeeper, to be honest. Adam, do you want to jump in and talk about this fixture or any comments for Amu?
I just had 2 points. Armando, just a quick question about the statue, a beautiful statue. But am I right in saying that there's one inside the stadium and there's another one outside the stadium?
So what they did, the Comune di Napoli put one outside the stadium, outside the Distinti, and by Napoli this month launched the Maradona month, which every game was a different T-shirt. This one against Lazio is the last one of the collection. And if you notice, all the previous one had the dark blue, dark red, or gold. This one resembled just the Argentina and Napoli color. It was everything was planned. The other beautiful things, every single dollar profit from this sale, because a lot of people, especially some of the Napoli fans, because we have a slice of Napoli fans that wherever the club does, wherever De Laurenti does, they have to criticize. Napoli's on top of the ladder. Napoli's got Green Book. Napoli is very wealthy. Napoli's got some of the best squad in Serie A. They still have to find something to crucify him. And it was like, you're making money on Maradona. No, every single dollar profit from the shirts is going to give in charity. Then inside the stadium, there is the Napoli statue. Napoli did a statue for Maradona. So it's beautiful. You got one at the entrance of the players. So as they walk in, they got this beautiful statue of Maradona in a running shape on top of number 10. And then you got a beautiful statue outside the stadium because it's called Stadio Maradona. So it's quite cool.
Beautiful. And just the other point, Armando, just on Mertens, I'm always intrigued by when a foreigner is at a club, an Italian club, and there's that attaccamento alla maglia, that real, he's a fan's favorite. I guess the last one for us in comparison is probably Raja Nainggolan at Roma, where the fans just absolutely adored him because he had that attachment to the shirt. And was a club hero for those years. With Mertens, I'm interested in his nickname Ciro, and I wanted you to explain why that is, because I read recently that his partner's about to give birth to their son, and he's going to name him Ciro, which I think is brilliant. And it ties in so well to the Napoli fans. But how do you get that nickname?
It's a funny story. Actually, Mertens came out I don't know how long ago and explain why. Mertens leave Napoli 100%. Mertens goes out, go to the cinema, go to the bowling, go to the pubs. You can see video of Mertens playing on the street with kids. He doesn't leave Napoli. So apparently he used to go to the bowling, and the guy used to put the name on the screen. So he doesn't get recognized. He used to call him Ciro Martinez. Ciro Martinez, but it did not work. It's not the name, it's the player. So end up to be Ciro Martinez, Ciro. And now that's his nickname, Ciro.
Oh, brilliant. I love it.
Good stuff. All right, we're going to move on, guys. Before I move on to Anthony Milan, I just wanted to make a comment. We've said it every single game. The doctor inconsistencies this season. I think all of us are starting to believe that Maurizio Sarri's patience might actually end up running out at the end of all this. They don't look like they have the identity to stay consistent. But, I guess we'll see what happens with this side. And we'll talk about them a little bit more as the podcast rolls around in the next few weeks. And not a great week for you guys. Losing to Fiorentina in Florence, not a horrible result. Just like Armando said, for him against Inter, your streak had to end eventually. But I don't think anybody wanted to see you guys go down to Sassuolo at home. You could take us through it while the guy pointing at his ear starts to also point to the fact that he might need to be called up for the national team as well.
Yep, terrible week. Well, it was sort of a terrible week because if you think about the heights in midweek and what we did after such a complete and structured performance against Atletico Madrid, I don't understand how we could be so unbalanced against Sassuolo. So you guys would have watched the game against Madrid. Very, very strong, very structured, very composed. We didn't give a lot away. Defensively, pretty much nothing. I know they're not the most attacking team in the world, Atletico, but we were very strong. Then you look at the game against Sassuolo, I wasn't sure what was going on. We started strong, a lot of early chances. It looked good, and then we get the early goal through Romagnoli. And you think when we're 1-0 up, we'll close the game off, probably get a second, do the job, and it's over. But it sort of fell apart after that. I just want to point out, and I mentioned this a couple of weeks ago, that first goal came from Armo's mate, Bakayoko. So you can have him back as soon as you can. Because
we don't
want him at Milan.
I did not warn you guys. Can we take the VHS when we tape the first episode where I talk about Bakayoko?
I've never been a fan.
Can we get the tape and put it in the recorder and watch it again, please?
What about the jogging back, Anth? He jogged back. He didn't even sprint back.
He's look, and you know what the thing is? We've conceded, I think, 5 goals now from our defensive midfielder getting caught on the ball in that position or a bad pass. Like Bakayoko was a bad pass, but you remember Benassi got caught against Porto in the Champions League. They scored. Kessie got caught against Inter, your boys, Anth. And
Kessie got caught again in this game as well for the third goal, didn't he? Yeah, he's the one that got dispossessed.
Correct, for the third goal. Theo Hernandez got caught against Fiorentina last week on the ball bang goal. And now Bakayoko with the... So how many times can we get caught outside our own box dribbling or with a misplaced pass before we learn? I know, it's just frustrating as a supporter because you think, bloody hell, like sometimes you've just got to get the ball out of there. We keep getting caught, we keep copping goals. But, let's take nothing away from Scamacca's finish, yeah? What a finish from once he got the ball. And even Berardi making a fool out of Romagnoli. But we've got to stop conceding these goals. That's 5 and counting. Pioli has to fix this. I think it just highlights how much we miss Calabria and Tomori. We've copped 7 goals in 2 games. You can't win a Scudetto when you are conceding goals like that. We're solid against Atletico, but they're not an attacking team. As soon as we come against some teams that attack us, we're copying goals left, right, and centre. I think Kalulu needs to play instead of Florenzi. I think he's a very, very good young player, a lot more solid. And Tomori has to come back in because without him, we really look weak in the centre. And Theo, each game, he's got to improve defensively. What else have we got here?
Adam's just waiting to pop off, but Ant, I'll jump in. I'll be a little more civil about it. You guys might as well just buy Berardi, man, honestly, just for these 2 fixtures, bro. I think it's 10 goals in 6 or 7 games now?
It's 15 games. I looked it up today. 15 games, 10 goals and 4 assists. So bloody purchase him so he can't ruin us. We lost against Sassuolo last year at home too, yeah? So this is twice in a row now that we've lost at home to Sassuolo. But, I give him credit. I think Armo and a few of us, we'd ridden Sassuolo off a couple of weeks ago. And then they've gone away to Juve and won. They've gone away to Milan and won. So it looks like they're slowly finding their feet under Dionisi, so good on them.
Let's hope you're wrong, because we're going to face Sassuolo next. So I hope you're wrong.
Yeah, where? In Napoli or Sassuolo? Hopefully it's away because they do well. Okay. They look like they're stronger away. But look, Pioli's got to show his quality now. He's he's signed the contract.
Yeah.
Pressure's on now. Yeah, he's got what he wanted, an extension. We go away to Sheva tomorrow. He can't do us any favors. Look where they are on the ladder. Yeah. So nothing less than a win's acceptable or our season can derail in a couple of weeks. With you guys right up our ass now, Anth, it's starting to be concerning. Look, despite my mate Adam's smirk on his face there, and I can see him hanging out to get stuck into. I still got faith. I think, don't forget, we beat Atalanta away. We should have beat Juve away. We drew with Inter. I still got faith we can win this Scudetto. And I think Maldini came out today and said in January no transfers. I don't think he's telling the truth because I think we need to reinforce in a few positions. especially in that centre back position. He's tried out Gubbia, didn't work. Romagnoli, look at him. Is that him there or
I know Armando's got a question following up this, but I just need to focus in on this because as a Romanista watching that game, nothing pleased me more than seeing this bloke get shot by a sniper in the crowd and then get a red card.
He slipped. He slipped on the goal.
Did he get a red? Yeah, he did get a red card at the end of the game.
He got a red card. Yeah. He got a red card. Look, he scored a goal, fell over and got a red card. So it was a weird game for him. But look, I don't want Bakayoko in the team anymore. I'll be honest. I think it's affecting Benacer too. So Benacer's a very good player, but his consistency is starting to drop. I think so, with the rotation. And Kessie, another one, it's cost us a couple of goals this year. Either sign or in January go so we can focus on the boys that want to be there.
Ever since he's put pen to paper on that contract, man, he's actually legitimately been half of his former self, man. He has not been that good at all.
Exactly.
Yeah, Amo, do you have anything to close off the Milan game for him?
Yeah, Anthony, just quickly one. Now that Romagnoli is suspended, is Tomori going to be back in time?
Yes.
Because I think he was out injured. Okay.
He's back tomorrow, thank God. And when he's in with Simon Kier, they're different. Yeah. They're different. He's got so much speed. Romagnoli is so slow.
Without Tomori and Romagnoli, would have been a trouble. So, good for me.
Yeah, he's back.
Was it just rotation, Ed? Was it just rotation, or was it?
No,
I think it was injury or disqualified.
No, he's injured. He's been injured. He didn't play in midweek either against Atletico. He was injured. And Romagnoli had a really good game against Atletico. But again, they played for a 0-0 draw. They didn't really come at us, and that's the difference. Once we get caught in space, forget it. Romagnoli's got no speed to catch anyone. So that's where Tomori's a beast. So thank God he's back tomorrow. I hope we're not rushing him back because if we lose him for a good 4 to 5 weeks, we've got big problems in defence.
Yeah, right. Thanks a lot, Anth. Really appreciate it, mate. We're going to go over to you next, Adam. 1-0 terrorist-style stuff from Jose, man. That's vintage Mourinho, bro. Proper Inter 2010 shiz right there, man. But well done. You ended the game with something like 38% possession, but who cares? You ended with 3 points. That's all that matters, right?
Yeah, that's it. I rolled out of bed at about 10 to 4 on Monday morning and to watch this one, and I thought I was seeing things when I checked the lineup. I saw Diawada's name on the team sheet. Just amazed that a player that's been out for so long and sort of cast aside by Mourinho is then all of a sudden in the starting lineup. It surprised everyone. So just as a side note, the club finally won that battle with the Liga Calcio about playing our anthem right before kickoff. So if we think about teams from overseas, probably Liverpool's probably the main one where you never walk alone, and that how famous that is. So what's it called? It makes obvious sense to be able to show off the atmosphere to the viewers around the world. So why would you want to suppress that?
Sorry? Why was banned? I didn't know that was banned.
I also didn't know it was banned. Can you tell us why?
Sorry?
Can you tell us why? I also didn't know.
Yeah, we don't know.
The previous rule was that, in our case, Roma, our anthem was always played as the players came out of the tunnel. Well, it used to start when they were still in the tunnel, and it finished before the players shook hands and the Lega anthem started. Mourinho arrived and he's like, why can't the players feel that atmosphere before pre-game as they come out? To pump them up, and it took a while. It took weeks for us to. So what happened a few weeks ago against who was it against? The Empoli was that the fans sung it a cappella. So the announcer started the first bar, and then the crowd sung the rest of it, just to show the federation that it can be done, and why can't we do it? So just really trivial things that our federation does. You think,
well done to the Roma fan, Bello.
It doesn't make sense.
So
it doesn't make sense to not allow it.
Yeah,
I'll tell you probably why. Probably they're going to play the stupid song that they call the Lega Serie A national song.
Well, they still do it, but they play it, and then we play the anthem straight after it. So as the captains is shaking hands and doing the toss, and then the players have their team photo, and by the time they get themselves ready, it's pretty much almost over. So what happened before the game, funnily enough, is that the players were about to kick off, and there was still probably about 30, 40 seconds of the anthem to go, and the ref actually waited. He waited.
I love this is football, Bell. I love it.
He waited for the anthem to finish, and then he blew the whistle to start the game, which was absolutely fantastic. Like if you watch the game, It's unbelievable at the start. So you can actually see that on the Roma Facebook page if you're interested in watching it. But
Definitely, I come and watch after because I love this. I love this kind of stuff.
Yeah. So to the game itself, changing in structure and formation, went to 3 at the back, which we did midweek in the Conference League. But first time we've done it in Serie A, and it worked well. Mkhitaryan, shifted to the middle of the park, and Zaniolo played the traditional segunda punta behind Tammy. Really excelled in those positions. Zaniolo just ran his socks off for 90 minutes and did a lot of grunt work in between the midfield and attack. Probably I wouldn't say back to his best, but close enough. Scored a really good goal nearing the end of that first half. And then we were awarded a penalty. I don't know if you've seen that. And I'm not going to bang on about VAR again. We won the game, so who cares? But if you see the decision for that penalty being overturned, he was offside. His heel was offside by literally a millimeter. But the interesting part is you can't actually see exactly when El Shaarawy plays the ball for the offside. His foot's sort of covering the ball from that angle. So you think that the benefit of the doubt would go to the attacking team in that instance, considering it was so close. But whatever, it took 5 minutes and 40 seconds for that to be overturned. And the free kick was awarded to Torino. But second half, and back to your point, Eth, is that, it was a defensive masterclass in that second half. I felt like I was transported back to the new camp in 2010 when Inter made it through that semi-final of the Champions League, because it felt like that at times where we were just getting pounded, but our structure stood up and they didn't really have any chances from to score unless they were a long-range shot, which went well wide, or Rui Patricio was able to handle. So defensive structure in that second half was really good. And you're right, the lion's share of possession went to Torino. Just to finish off with, and something about Torino that I didn't quite understand from Juric is he started with Sanabria, Zaza, Bazelli, and Piaka all on the bench. All players that are talented in my view and probably better than Belotti right now. And I'm calling it here. I reckon he's finished as a Torino player. Like he actually has to get out of Torino to reinvigorate his career elsewhere, or else he's just a complete spent force. I can't see him getting any better than he is playing for La Granata. So I think it's time for him to make that move. The only player that really stood out for me, and I think he's going to be a really good player, is a Croatian youngster named Josip Brekalo. I don't know if you know him, but played really, really well, and I'm expecting some big things from him moving forward.
Go on.
No, I was just going to finish with Pellegrini. Unfortunately, he's going to be out for probably about 5 to 6 weeks with he tore his thigh in the second half. Just nothing else really, apart from Mourinho in the presser after the game, touched on the collective, how close the boys are, and despite the murmurs from the Roman press, and we've spoken about that previously, the ambiente romano have a tendency that if we go 1 or 2 games without a win, they start jumping on us and starting all these rumors. There was a rumor about Zaniolo and Mourinho having an altercation, which he put to bed and said it wasn't true. He's pleaded with the press to just lay off Zaniolo, let him play, let him do his thing on the pitch, and just leave him alone. And look at the results. We've conceded 0 goals in the last 3 outings, which is great. And for the 6th time this season, Roma Inter is sold out. The game is sold out for the 6th time this season at home, which is fantastic. So full steam ahead. We're in touching distance of that 4th spot, and that's where we want to be. So considering the frailties in our squad that, again, we've spoken about previously, I'm happy where we are. I mean, that's probably where we need to be, and that's where I think this squad, reflecting on the season so far, I think that's where we deserve to be.
Yeah, I was going to say before I go over to Anthem, regarding the Torino players that were missing, I actually think it's because the next 3 games for Torino are very, very winnable, and Juric wants to get some serious points there. I think they come up against Empoli, Cagliari, and Bologna in their next 3 fixtures. He'll really fancy getting some points there, and it wouldn't be the first time a mid-table coach rests some of his bigger players and sacrifices an away trip to a bigger side. In regards to what you said about Roma and Jose, I think you're in exactly the right position you need to be. I think you've come out of a small slump at the right time of the season where the players are motivated and trust in the project. expect. To be honest with you, man, if you guys were to finish in 4th position or 3rd, all power to you. It would be a really, really good thing. And comments on this fixture, man, for Adam?
Yeah, I've got a couple, Adam. First one, I agree with. First, I'll touch on Torino because against Milan, exactly the same. They had a lot of possession, right? But they couldn't finish. They really probably should have beaten us. So I didn't see the game against Roma. So I think I agree up front. I don't know what's going on, but if they can convert with all the possession they have, I think they'll get a lot of results. I've got a couple of points. I'll make one. What's changed with you guys in regards to not conceding in 3 games, considering you're conceding, 6 and a few goals a couple of weeks ago in most games? And also, is Pellegrini, he's so frustrating because I really rate him as such a great player. His injury is going to be his Achilles heel. Do you think he's going to really struggle to keep shining? Constant injuries now, it seems like, out of the Nazionale when we need him. What are your thoughts on him?
Yeah, I'll start with Pellegrini. I think you're right, Anth. He's quite injury prone. I don't know if it's just his physique and the amount of he's played a lot through injury. So I think by playing through injury, I don't know if the rest of his body is compensating for what else is going on. But you're right. He just seems to be one of those players that has a stretch of continuity. And then he breaks down and he's out for, a sustained period. So it's with him, unfortunately, it's never like a 1 to 2 game injury. It's always something longer. So I don't know. Look, I hope he can get his body right. But you can go as far back as before the Euros. So he was carrying injury prior to the Euro and then had to pull out because of injury. And he's had a couple already this season. So you hope he get his body right before he comes back, but he's going to miss a pretty important stretch of games because we've got Inter, we've got Atalanta, I think we've got Milan again before he comes back. So but I'll look on your second point. I think it was a necessity really because we had all our fullbacks out at one stage, so he converted El Shaarawy. Who knew that El Shaarawy could defend? He's been playing as a wing back in a 3-5-2.
Solo Mourinho, man. Only Mourinho can make us all find something out like that.
So he's it was more out of necessity than anything else, Ant. And I think we're just more solid in defence. We've got those. Ricky Karsdorp will run like Forrest Gump, and he'll run all day. He's just up and down, and with him, I mean. If you look at the structure of the team, El Shaarawy is given more of a license to get forward, and then Ricky Karsdorp will drop back in more on that right side than the left. But if Ricky gets all the way up the park, then El Shaarawy is there as a left back, which is something you've never seen.
Yeah, never. Yeah, you would have thought it. Yeah,
yeah. So and then you've got Diawara in this game particularly. You had Diawara, and you had Mkhitaryan. Dropping back as well, which again, it's not really Mickey's natural game to get in behind the ball and win tackles. But we had Pellegrini out with Cristante out, so yeah, it was really good to see. But I think he's just got his structure right. But that's his strength. I mean, we all know Mourinho teams in the past, rock solid defensively. It's just a matter of us being able to convert the chances we do get. We're a better team on the counter, so against the lower teams at the low end of the table, unfortunately, they do that to us, and we're forced to attack. But against teams like Torino, who are willing to attack, it just worked well for us. In the first half, we could have had a couple more, but look, we'll settle on 1-0, 0 goals conceded again, and we'll take the 3 points.
Yeah, Amo, do you have any last comments about Roma for Adam before we move on? You're on mute, bruv.
Sorry, I heard that dog barking. I thought it was mine, so I put myself on mute. But
sorry, it was mine.
Listen up. So what I was going to say, I don't know if Adam touched it because the question was right. I think was changed in the last 3 games, 0 goal conceded. Mourinho went back to his old classic 3-5-2. Simple and easy. And he mastered that stuff. I don't know if, Adam, you mentioned to say that because I got distracted for a second.
He did,
so I was going to add that. But one more thing, I see that Ibrahim, it's fantastic. It reminds me of Osimhen. What 2 great players we got to Serie A this year.
Yeah. Oh, no, look, I'm not
it's young, Bello. It's young.
He's young, I know. But if you watch the Conference League game during the week, he scored 2 goals, but he probably missed about 10. A couple of those chances were just simple chances. He reminds me, an interesting point, he reminds me a lot of Dzeko in that first year at Roma. So hopefully next season he scores 30 goals, which is what Dzeko did in his second season. But look, you're right, Armando, in that 3-5-2, especially when you got Zaniolo and Mkhitaryan hitting you on the break.
Big difference, man. Big difference.
It's terrifying it'll be terrifying for opposition. So look, I personally believe you should stick with it. But now that you got Vigna coming back, Calafiori coming back, Spinazzola will be back pretty soon, so he might go back. Who knows? We'll see.
He's still 7 points behind us, mate. Just remember that.
Coaches, man. It's all right.
Sorry, what did you say, Anthony?
I said there's still 7 points behind us. Don't worry, we're only 3 behind you, mate. Only 3 behind you.
Still behind. The word behind is still in the sentence, so that's what I mean.
Beautiful. Let's move on to a couple of the smaller fixtures before I go over to my boys. Marko Arnautovic, however you say his name, made sure of the points for Bologna, who are sitting in their rightful position in ninth. A fairly comfortable performance from them. I managed to tune into 45 minutes, and Spezia just look void of all attacking flow whatsoever. I fully expect them to still be fighting tightly for relegation end of the season. Actually, a decent nil draw for two struggling sides, I would say. Both sides really needed 3 points between Udinese and Genoa. So a stalemate in Friuli was not a really good result. And Andrei Shevchenko still looking for his first win in Genoa as they sit in the relegation zone. So he'll be looking to do something against. Anthony said he won't be looking to do any favors, that's for sure, but it's not looking good. It is looking half decent for my fellas, however. They're playing some decent football. They're dominating majority of the match. We had a fantastic victory against Armando's side, Napoli, to close the gap because although, Napoli and Inter, in my opinion, are two very even sides this season, 4 points is a lot different than 10, no matter what time of the season that it is, looking in those double digits. So very good performances from everybody. Not only that, the behavior off the pitch is actually quite mature at the moment. The contracts are being signed for very decent wages. When you re-sign Brozovic for 6 and Barella for 6, these aren't low figures, but can someone please point me in the direction of a club that's signing their best players and the best players in the league for anything less than these numbers? This is exactly what you need to do if you're going to carry on with the personnel and with the big players in your sides. Going away to Venezia, not an easy trip because the atmosphere is quite good, quite energetic over there, but we did the business there like we needed to do it to close that gap. And I'm going to go over to Anthony because guess who's in form, bro? Guess who's in lots and lots of form? To be honest, I'm sure he'll slip back out of form, but I need to take this opportunity, man. That's a classic number 10 goal. Literally 0 millimeters of space to work with, but somehow finds the back of the net. Anth, any comments for your boy Hakan? And to be honest, any comments about Inter in general lately?
With Hakan, we played him into form, it looks like, which gives me even more of the shits. But you've got your 3 good games or 4 good games out of him now. Hopefully he goes missing like he did again. But he's looking strong. He's looking like he's actually enjoying it there. And I think the whole Inter team's looking very, very ominous now. I saw the second half. And you guys were, in complete control. It's a great little stadium. Like you said, the atmosphere right on top of the players. But I'm starting to really worry. I didn't think Inzaghi could get you guys going this quick. So credit to him that, like you said, Anth, he's got a pretty mature group now. And Inter's had those issues in the past where some players, behave in a certain way. And it looks like he's got them, as a group playing. I think Perisic is looking so strong this year, man. The way he's playing. He's a good player, but it looks like he's just really, really made that spot his own. And Dzeko just continues to surprise me. I don't know if he can keep it up the whole season, but the other thing is you've got Lautaro now starting to hit form, I think, for you guys. So wouldn't surprise me if in a couple of weeks you're equal with Napoli on top. I don't know what your next couple of games running is like, but I'd love it if it's up another.
Spezia on Thursday, Roma on Sunday. So it's not easy, but, 2 winnable games, I think.
Yeah, look, hopefully Roma can slow you down a bit because at the moment you're looking extremely strong. You've qualified in the Champions League as well. So things are looking bright for you, my mate.
It's looking good for Simone Inzaghi. You got to give him full credit. And as you touched on, it's looking like a good team. And I think this time in 2021, it's very important to just focus on how important it is to build a winning team. You know, you sell Lukaku for 115 million and bring Dzeko in for free. It's easy to expect the criticism. I know it's only 14 match days, but, you know, one of them's starting on the bench because his team can score 4 goals with a false 9. That's embarrassing. And Lukaku's probably really regretting that decision. Edin Dzeko, on the other hand, as good as he is, I'm sure Adam will resonate with this. That guy can really stink it up for 60 minutes and then go from stinker to man of the match in literally 2 chances in 10 minutes, man. That's what happened in the Champions League. He was the worst player in the pitch for the first half against Shakhtar. He turned the ball over. He missed a sitter, he missed a header, he missed a tap in. And then in the blink of an eye, it was Dzeko 2.
Yeah, he never goes away. He's one of those players that, like you said, he'll go missing. And his body language too gives opposition a false sense of security, I think, at times, because he looks like he's throwing tantrums and then he'll just pop up for a goal. So, a great acquisition for you guys at a time when when you're on the rise and needed someone like that. He fits in perfectly in that type of setup. So, as I've said previously, Anth, you're still my tip for the Scudetto. Because, looking at the Venezia game too, you just did what you had to do. You went there, got a couple of goals, got the 3 points and got the hell out of there. So, and that's what champion teams do. No finesse, just in and out.
As Amor keeps saying, winning a title, winning the trophy, it's amazing. It's the most important thing. At the moment, I'd call it the second most important thing. Continuity at the moment and making sure you're not suffering at the jaws of the economic shithouse that is football at the moment, which we'll touch on more. And I'm 99.99% sure this Inter team is finishing in the top 4 and having a positive season with or without the Scudetto. And that's very important to be able to have in the club. Amo, I'm going to go out for your final word on Inter, and then we're going to move on to a very interesting result.
Inter fan needs to do like Napoli. We need to look at the top 4 until March, April, because I think Inter is going to go through the same worry that we're going to go through. The Spalletti factor in January, February, and Inzaghi has the same issue. You look Lazio the last 5-6 years, it started always strong, and then so both of us are in the same shape, the same kind of worry boat. Both of us look very good, but both of us needs to concentrate, even when the few losses will start coming. Because when you have games every 3 days, this abnormal stupidity that the Football Federation, Serie A, and all the league in Europe doing it, and that's why you end up having all those players injury. Chiesa is out, Pellegrini is out, lots of players are out, because you cannot play every 3 days. Anyway, let's not start the rant. But
can I just say something on your point there, Armor? You know how you said, Inzaghi, in later in the year he'll sort of crumble a bit, maybe Spalletti as well. But Pioli's the same. Mourinho at the moment's the same. Allegri, forget it, he's all over the place. So there's no coach at the moment that can go and just dominate. I think every club's got that problem where they're going to go through that.
What I was about to say,
I agree with you.
What I'm about to say, the big factor would be the fact that we play every 3 days. Napoli lost 5 players in our weekend. Now, I've been saying from day one that we have a very good deep squad, but we cannot afford to lose another 5 or 6 on top of the other 5. You know what I'm trying to say? And that goes for everyone. And then you got the international break. It's become ridiculous. You see players having muscles injury that should never have because they're athletes. But it's happening because the body's under stress continually. It's ridiculous. And then traveling in the cold, back in the hot. That's why I say, guys, we should be backing up a team, because it might happen that you get 2 losses back to back, like it's happened to Milan. And because it's happening in 3 days or 7 days, you think it's a big crisis. No, because in the 90s, you will have 7 days in between to recover. And, it will stretch over the months. So now you're losing 3 games. It's in 1 week, not over a month. Before you were losing 3 games, you had to wait for 3 weeks. You know what I'm trying to say?
There's no international break though till March now, is there? Was there one?
I don't know, man. There's
not one till next year. There's only African Cup in January and nothing else.
Which probably there is rumors they're not gonna go ahead now because COVID, the new thing.
Yeah, who knows? Next game that we're going to talk about has some serious repercussions on and off the pitch for Juventus. They lose 0 1. Atalanta, they look lackluster. They're not attacking the goal. They have no goal scorer. I don't know why Allegri is starting Marotta, trying to play him like Romelu Lukaku. Marotta has never been good in that position as a sole big number 9. He can't hold the ball up. It's not looking good. Full credit to Atalanta and Duvan Zapata, who in my opinion is the best forward in Serie A at the moment. I don't even think it's a discussion, to be honest. Duvan Zapata is incredible. But I'm going to start from the bottom up this time. Armando, the problem's on the pitch. It's only scratching the surface to what's actually going on behind the scenes. If anybody reads any of the papers, Agnelli can't really shut these ones up.
All right. I'm going to try to be the most polite person in the world, because it's not fair. There is no Juventino on the panel, so there is no the other side. All right. But before coming live, I shared with Anthony, an Italian YouTuber, which is a Juventino, which does stock market, Bitcoins, and investment. And he showed up graph. It was very technical. I don't know, Anthony, if you end up watching it. So what happened right now is, let's start breaking down first. Juventus, it's under investigation for pump up plus Valencia. And everybody keeps saying, yeah, but Milan did, Inter did, Napoli did, all done. Also, they are under investigation for fake invoice, fake fatture. That's a crime. Plus, Napoli, Inter, Milan, they are not traded in the stock market. When you do this kind of fake invoice and your company in the stock market trade, it's a legal crime. You go to jail, because what happened is this: you when you sell a product on the stock market, there is no way people can check what they're buying. They buy stock market action. All right, so they have to believe the public book and the account, the balance book and everything that the company puts out in order to invest money. Because I'm investing my money because you tell me that the book are green. If I find out that this book are not green, you've been faking it to sell it, it's going to be big trouble. It's nothing to do to a fake plus Valenza pumped it up. Okay, so let's be clear on this. So it's not the same thing. Now, because of this, Juventus lost in the last 15 days, almost between 32 and 35% of the stock market value. As of yesterday, today is Monday. As of today, they are back at the same value where they were before they bought Cristiano Ronaldo. Now, the investor of Juventus, the one that buy the stock, the big, what you call directors, the one that got the big share, the share. They are really upset. 4 months ago, they had a big influx of fresh cash, and they said that's the last time. Now, in order for Juventus to go over, it's stock market is like money. Juventus had $100 million in the market. Now they have $70 million. They lost. I'm using number. That's a percentage. So they are really upset. And rumors are that what I mentioned at the start of the season, that Agnelli was alone. Agnelli was his knee. He's got a gun on his head and he's finished. The only way Juventus to survive all this is to get rid of the cancer. When they get rid of the cancer, I tell you what, if I can't take control, I'm going to stop being... I'm not going to hate on Juventus anymore, because it's Agnelli, my enemy. He's been a cheater. What he's been doing to Serie A, but not only to Serie A, the way he's been treating Serie A is the way he's been doing business in Italy. He's been destroying other business. He's destroyed Alfa Romeo. He destroyed Piaggio. He destroyed Ferrari. That's what he does. He grabbed it, destroyed, and sucked. And he tried to do the same with Serie A. Yeah. This time around, it could be very dangerous. Now, another thing. There is 2 more examples, Chievo Verona and Cesena. They got relegated and the title got taken apart because they were doing the same thing, fake plus Valencia. Now, if a fake plus Valencia, it's just because, you want to value the player more, and that's how you do it, it's not a crime. But if they find out that the fake plus Valencia was needed so your club can participate to the campionato, otherwise will not be able to register, it's a crime. Your title gets stripped away, broken, and you start from 3rd division. Is that going to happen to Juventus? I hope not. I don't want the fan to suffer. I just want these 3 people head chopped and hanged outside the stadium. Because it's been a cancer. Agnelli's been a cancer, all his family, for the Serie A, even for Juventus. Look what happened. Calciopoli, was Moggi doing on his own. The doping, was Agricola. We don't know. Agricola was doing on his own. the kid Suarez. But was not us. Was the guy that want to bring you over. Now, it's Paratici, it's not Juventus. Now, you really think a president like Agnelli, all this stuff happening, and he keeps saying he doesn't know nothing about?
Yeah.
Two things. All right. If I want to be like Juventini, say, no, it's all fake, they're attacking us, and then, sorry, I'll finish. I'll let you ask question. If Juventini push into the fact that, it's nothing, everybody do what you guys always speak on Juventus, I want to agree with you, but then makes my point even stronger, that Agnelli lost his power, Agnelli lost friends, and he's getting attacked. Now, they could not get punished for the Super League simply because the Super League does not exist. So the European courts say you cannot punish them because they've done nothing. That's why UEFA stopped the case. But look around. La Liga Spagnola introduced so many restrictions that Barcelona and Real Madrid can't even go buy milk for their players. Yeah. Barcelona can't even buy tickets for their fam, for the wife of the player to watch the game. They broke. All right? They've been attacked financially. Real Madrid cannot finish their stadium. They run out of funds. They need more loan to finish the stadium. And look at Juventus getting attacked on the tax and on the financial side. Now, who was Agnelli best mate at Cumpare up to 6 months ago that knows all Agnelli tricks? Who was Agnelli's best friend?
Not Perez, the Madrid owner?
The president of UEFA. They were best friends.
Okay.
He was godfather to the daughter. He knows
everything.
everything.
Are you talking about Cherafin or whatever his
name
is?
Cherafin knows all the dark side that Agnelli did. Do you really think this thing started in May 2021 out of nowhere? Can't you see the pattern of Juventus not having no one to do market with? No one give them any players. They had to beg Sassuolo to get the Locatelli. The new Xavi, I paid in 20,000 here. Agnelli is finished. People will tell, Armando, you said that in September. Yes. And I'm telling you again, this kind of stuff doesn't happen overnight. It will build up, but the guy is finished, and I can't wait for the day to celebrate.
100%. And look, to be honest, I just find it funny when they still throw shade on, Inter last season for not paying for Lukaku and Hakimi in full, the full amount before we sold them off for a little bit of profit. Where if you look into it, they owe over 92.5 million euros on 4 of their players. Moise Kean, Morata, Locatelli, and Chiesa. If they're not careful, they're not going to redeem 2. They're going to have to sell all 3 or 4 of them, man.
It's a huge difference between overselling, overpaying a player, and fake invoice, faking fatture, because that means, I'll tell you what happened. You have to close your budget, all right? When you go there, you said, I made this year 100 million and I lost 80 million, so I got 20 million plus. But if those 100 million, 30, 40 million are fake, you didn't really actually do anything, you are in red. Therefore, you're not able to be on the stock market at the level that you are, and you should not be allowed to register to play any competition, because in order to play Serie A, Champions League, you have to show the green books, the fair play, the fair FP, whatever you want to do.
Yeah.
So that's the tricky bit. If they find that this kind of shiftiness was to register to a competition, they finish. If they find out that the fake invoice are real, Agnelli, legal is finished. Nothing to do with Serie A. Thank God this is not in the end of the Lega, because the Lega is the most corrupted. This is the end of Finanza, guys. Finanza in Italy, forget about. When you get Finanza, it's like taxation office in Australia. When they start looking to your book, you better start shaking, because they're going to find whatever they want to find.
Yeah. We'll go over to Adam and Ant for one quick comment each. Adam, over to you first, mate.
I was just going to ask a quick question. Thanks for explaining that, Armando, because when you read that sort of stuff, a lot of it gets lost. So thanks for explaining it so openly. Just a quick question about implications for other clubs. It's something that a few friends have been talking about. So if Juventus, let's say, down the track were found guilty of this, how does it implicate other clubs who were involved in those transactions?
All right, I'll tell you something. Napoli's been called, okay? Because Napoli bought Osimhen, and we paid him 35, 40 million plus 4 under 21 players, all right? Napoli didn't gain any favor. The Lille, the Nice, whatever is the team that did it, registered those players for that much of price. So they gain at the events of buying Osimhen. So what I'm trying to say, if I buy something for you and I'll pay you and I walk away, and then you don't pay the tax or you don't declare the right amount that I paid you, I got nothing to do. I got nothing to worry about. It's you the one that is shifty things. Understand? That's all there is. Doing a fake invoice means you create an invoice, send it to no one.
Yeah. Anth, did you have any comments on Juve or Atalanta before we move on, mate?
No, nothing on Juve. I'll move on from them. Just a quick one on Atalanta. Anth, I agree with your point about Zapata, best striker in the league for me as well. I remember a few years ago when he played for Sampdoria, he destroyed Milan in Genoa. So he's a beast. But my comment was to everyone, really. We all had written off Atalanta a few weeks ago. And I think we might have got that wrong because it looks like they're slowly but surely got back into the spots that they want to be. What are your thoughts, Anth, and whoever else on Atalanta now? Because I think they're a force to be reckoned with again.
I think they're always going to stick around, man. Their starting 11 is as good as any starting 11 in the league. And they've been playing the last 3 or 4 games with a half fit or almost unfit Gosens as well. You know, they haven't had all their players at 100% fitness, and everybody just seems to be able to step it up. I really, really like the way that they play. And I just think that Gasperini has had the team oiled so well for so long. It's going to take them to either have an off day or come up against a bogey side that doesn't fit their tactical forefront in order for them to screw up, because otherwise Atalanta is the perfect example of a business as usual routine side that's going to beat 75 to 80% of the teams in the league. Adam, we'll go to you next, and then Armando to finish off.
Yeah, just I did analyse this game actually. I was intrigued at how Allegri would handle the 3-4-2-1 of Gasperini. And he went for a 4-3-3 on paper, but it really looked like a 4-4-2 with Morata and Dybala up front. But really, it was just Chiesa getting up high and Rabiot sitting in possession. But I was actually surprised with Atalanta's tactics. I don't know if you guys saw this, but gone was that free-flowing style that we're used to. Instead, we saw them cautious in possession, preferring to adopt a slow build-up play. But on the flip side of that, they're really aggressive in their press still, and they brought Juve unstuck on a few occasions. And the main one was, of course, the interception of Juve's pattern of playing out of the back, and eventually that ball fell to Zapata, who scored the goal. But yeah, I was just interested in seeing Atalanta in possession going forward. They, it's not often that we see them knocking it around the back between their centre backs, but they did that a lot in this game. So it probably caught Allegri by surprise a little bit because they went gung-ho and getting forward. But yeah, they're really starting to hit their stride, as they did last season. They started a little bit slower last season, and you couldn't beat them by the second half of the season. So at this rate, I think they'll definitely be top 4. Whether they challenge for honours is another question. But mate, they're just so good to watch.
They are good to watch, man. Armo, do you have any closing comments on Atalanta?
Yeah, just on Atalanta. First of all, Zapata is a great player. I like him since he was at Napoli. He showed me that he was great. But we have to sell him because he didn't want to be a bench for Higuain back then. And you got Higuain scoring 36, 33, 35. And the guy was nice. He said, listen, I've been here. You send me on loan everywhere. I want to play. And I like the Napoli does normally let them go when they want to go. It's a good thing to do, especially when they're young. And I'm happy that he's doing great. But Atalanta, I think, is going to be, like I mentioned before, it has to worry about to be close to the first top 4 for the Champions League. Wherever we be in the gap between 3 to 5 points in March, April, to me would start being a list of contender. Anyone that will be 7, 10, 15 points will be out March, April. So at this stage, yes, we did really run them off. I'm not still pull them back. I still think that Napoli, Milan, and Inter got something more. And I'm always suspect about Roma because Mourinho is one of those guys that when he gets the right formation, the right things, I will not be surprised if he can strike 10 victory on the road. You know what I'm trying to say?
Yeah.
Don't write off Roma yet. Even you said 2 winnable games. I'll be worried about to face Roma, to be honest.
Definitely. This has been a fantastic edition.
Napoletani try to jinx you because they want Roma to win.
Yeah, of course. The anti-jinx never fails, man. I'm a professional at it. It's been a fantastic episode of the Serie A Roundtable. Make sure you're liking and subscribing. And let us know if you are new in the comments as well. Just to wrap up Matchday 14, the surprise of the round goes to Empoli. Oh my goodness, if I was a Fiorentina fan, I would have had the shits with this one. This was a classic Inter game in the banter era where where you score an early goal and then you just think that no matter what happens, you're going to go out with a win. Fiorentina with so many chances to kill the game. Vlahovic opened up the scoring, but basically in the 85th minute, Bandinelli pulls a goal to the empty net out of absolutely nothing. And then less than 2 minutes later, Pinamonti grabs the 3 points for Empoli. They're up to 11th position on the ladder now. You know, we've all seen these sides come up. There's always one out of the three that comes out of the gate, guns blazing. The most recent of memory, Pippo Inzaghi's Benevento, and it still ended up with them going down. So I'm not ready to say that Empoli are playing football to the point that they're going to stay up. But at the moment, it's hard not to look at them and be a little bit impressed. Sampdoria, who went into Retiro, are now 2 games on the bounce after a 3-1 win against Verona. Verona opened the scoring after the deflection, but it's all about the boy on the right. It's all about my G right here, Antonio Candyman, Antonio Candreva. What a season he's having, man. I swear to God, his market value must be more now than it was at Inter. And, you know, I wouldn't even criticize anyone for saying something stupid along the lines of call him up to the national team. I swear to God, this guy's consistency is incredible. His crossing ratio, once again, is very high. His cutting in play and ability to link up with Caputo has been very, very good. And I just think he's in great form, and it's really, really good to see. Other than that, the depressing fixture of the round goes to Cagliari again, who could not buy a win if they tried. They're still looking for the first win since October. I'm going to give Anthony the last say of the match day. Salernitana will walk away with a Bonazzoli goal, feeling like it was a win. But my God, you got to feel for João Pedro and now Cagliari to an extent. It's a shocker in Sardinia, Anth.
It is. I watched this game. It wasn't a very good game to watch, Anth. But João Pedro works his bloody ass off for that team.
Does.
I noticed how much he runs up and back. He's trying to create everything. He's obviously, you know, like we said a couple of weeks ago, maybe thinking of another contract, but you can't see it on the pitch because he's busting everything he can to keep that club in Serie A. The goal they conceded, I don't know if you guys saw it. If you were Mazzarri and you would grab Nunez by the throat and you would throw him because the way he just let that, it was a Bonazzoli, wasn't it? Come in the back post and scored, and he just let him go in the last minute too. So kicking yourself, but I can't see either of these teams surviving if they keep playing like this.
It's going to be very, very tough, man. The ladder stands with Napoli at the top with a 3-point cushion over Milan. I believe Inter on 31 points as well.
Hold on. This deserves a picture.
No worries, man. Take your time.
I enjoy it now.
Atalanta in 4th, Roma sneaking up, Fiorentina, Juventus in 7th. Juventus have the same points as Bologna. I'll just say one more time, Juventus have the same points as Bologna. Verona in 10th, Empoli 11th, Sassuolo, Torino, Udinese. Sampdoria creeping their way up. Venezia are doing just enough to make sure that they go into the back end of the season still with a chance. However, south from Venezia is where I really start to see the struggle this season. I think Shevchenko will get Genoa over the line, but I wouldn't be surprised if a gulf starts to form between that lower to mid-table and relegation zone. Gentlemen, this was really, really fun. We're almost at an hour of a really good conversation. Adam, thank you so much for joining us from Melbourne, man. All the best.
Thanks, guys, and hopefully see you next week.
Absolutely, man. Anth, all the best again. Thanks for coming, bro.
Thank you. Great to be back. Enjoyed the chat, boys.
And always enjoyable to link up with my friend Zil Amo. Thanks for joining us, Armando.
Thanks, everyone. Anthony, just a quickly one, so the Juventini don't hit on me. They think I'm making up things. I shared with you a video of the Juventino that does the stock market. If you could share it on the comment, that would be appreciated. So I suggest all of you Juventini, go have a look at this guy. He's a Juventino like you. Don't hit on me, hit on your president. I'm happy to join your fight against your president, but don't take it against me. Peace and love to all of you, and El Más Grande, infinity, forever.
Beautiful. You got to love it. From all of us here at Football Worldwide, take care. Ciao, ragazzi.
Ciao.